We all absolutely love the drama of the World Cup, right? But, behind the scenes of the expanded 2026 tournament, there is actually a massive structural nightmare brewing. The mathematics governing who advances and who goes home have been fundamentally altered, and let me tell you, it's not necessarily for the better. We're going to dive into this explainer and see exactly how the new 48-team format creates hidden mathematical flaws that could literally punish your favorite teams.
In this explainer, we're going to cover first, the new format's chaos. Second, brutal paths and logistics. Third, the pot 4 donor flaw. Fourth, the 4-section solution. And finally, restoring World Cup fairness. All right, let's get right into it.
Section 1. The new format's chaos.
We're kicking things off by looking at the immediate logistical headache created by tournament expansion. You see, when you add more teams to a tournament, you don't just add more matches. You completely change the geometry of the whole event. So here's the core puzzle we're looking at. How do you fit 48 teams into a standard 32-team knockout bracket? Squeezing 12 groups of 4 into a single elimination bracket forces a pretty huge compromise. We have 12 group winners and 12 runners-up, right? That makes 24 teams. But to get to 32, the system has to select the 8 best third-place teams, and it does this using a highly complicated global ranking across all the different groups.
This completely changes the dynamic. While the old 32-team format offered perfect structural symmetry that rewarded your group stage performance with a highly predictable path, the new 48-team format introduces what scientists actually call global coupling. Basically, this means your fate isn't just decided by the team right in front of you, it's heavily influenced by a random match happening thousands of miles away. It's literally a logistical butterfly effect that introduces severe distortions and punishes teams in totally unpredictable ways.
Moving on to Section 2, brutal paths and logistics. Let's look at exactly how this broken symmetry translates into real-world nightmares for the teams we love to watch. This isn't just a theoretical math problem on a whiteboard. It creates very real physical and tactical hurdles on the ground. Take Portugal, for example. If they finish second in their group, maybe by dropping a final group match to a team like Colombia, their punishment is an absolutely grueling gauntlet. They'd have to face Croatia in the round of 32, Spain in the round of 16, Belgium in the quarterfinals, and France in the semifinals just to reach the final. It's a run so exhausting that fans and analysts are already jokingly calling the resulting stress cramps Portugal syndrome.
And the travel logistics, just as bad. Look at Belgium. If Belgium finishes first in their group, their route keeps them comfortably stationed on the West Coast, playing in Seattle, Vancouver, and Los Angeles. Nice and easy. But if they finish second, their logistics shift drastically. They get thrown into a brutal southern trip to Arlington, Texas, and Atlanta, Georgia, leading to a likely early clash with Messi and Argentina in the so-called bracket of death. The penalty for even a minor slip-up in the group stage is disproportionately massive.
Throw in the geographical chaos, and it gets even crazier. Say Mexico sweeps their group stage opponents, largely because they played at high altitude, like the Estadio Azteca at 2,200 meters, causing their sea-level opponents, like Czechia, to fatigue late in the game. Well, because of how the unpredictable bracket forms, Mexico could end up facing Ecuador in the knockout rounds. And Ecuador routinely plays their home qualifiers in Quito at over 2,700 meters. Mexico's entire high-altitude advantage completely vanishes, leaving them gasping for air, all thanks to the sheer luck of the draw.
All right, Section 3, the pot 4 donor flaw.
We're pivoting from the pitch to the spreadsheet here to really understand the mathematical root causes of this unpredictability. Why is this happening? Well, it comes down to statistics and bracket topology. The crucial point is that ranking third-place teams across decoupled, independent groups creates a massive combinatorial explosion. It generates exactly 495 possible bracket configurations. Because FIFA has to select 8 out of 12 third-place teams to advance, it is literally impossible for the teams, the fans, or even the host cities to predetermine tournament paths until the very last group stage match is played.
The sheer scale of this complexity is staggering. We go from exactly one single predictable path in the classic 32-team format straight up to 495 in the new FIFA system. It's a massive, massive spike. It turns into a logistical nightmare that relies on an incredibly complex lookup table just to figure out who plays who.
Furthermore, this mathematical dependency creates what researchers call the pot 4 donor effect. Since you're comparing third-place teams across entirely different groups, a team's advancement actually relies heavily on the weakness of the bottom-seeded team, the pot 4 team, in its group, rather than their own competitive merit. So if your group has a terrible fourth team, you basically get to pad your stats and your goal difference. They become a donor for your advancement.
Because you're ranking teams against squads playing entirely different opponents. This global coupling incentivizes strategic underperformance. It violates what economists call strategy proofness, which is basically the incentive to always play your best to win. Elite teams might crunch the numbers and realize that finishing as a runner-up gives them an easier path than winning the group, making tanking on match day 3 a highly rational strategy. Plus, an already eliminated fourth-place team can unilaterally decide who advances just by giving up extra goals. It's messy.
The stats totally back this up too. Based on 200,000 simulation runs, the data proves that a higher ELO rating ratio between the third and fourth seeds dramatically increases a team's chances of advancing. Basically, the relatively weaker that fourth seed is compared to the third seed, the higher the advancement rate for that third-place team. It confirms beyond a shadow of a doubt that the current rules reward the luck of the draw over actual footballing skill.
Which brings us to Section 4, the 4-section solution.
Thankfully, we don't just have to sit here and complain about the problem. Academic researchers have actually proposed a mathematically sound way to fix these structural distortions before they ruin the tournament. Enter the 4-section bracket, or FSB. It's a unified architecture that totally eliminates global coupling. Instead of ranking all 12 third-place teams against each other globally, you process competitors locally. You do this by splitting the tournament into 4 separate, self-contained sections of 12 teams, meaning 3 groups per section. You only compare teams within your own local section.
Now you might be thinking, wait, won't teams from the same group just end up playing each other again immediately? To guarantee that doesn't happen, the FSB uses a really brilliant fixed transfer rule. Group winners stay put to anchor their home bracket. Runners-up are transferred to the opposite side of the global bracket, and third-place qualifiers cross over to the semifinal paired section.
When you map this out, you see how elegantly it solves the problem. This structure absolutely guarantees same group separation until at least the semifinal. But more importantly, it gives the top 2 group winners in each section a clear, protected path, actively rewarding them for their group stage excellence. They are guaranteed to face a third-place qualifier in the round of 32, rather than randomly drawing a super dangerous runner-up.
Finally, Section 5, Restoring World Cup Fairness. By bringing the math back in line, we can actually save the integrity of the most watched sporting event in the world. It's all about making sure the best teams on the pitch, not the luckiest teams in the draw, make it to the end. This elegant 4-section fix completely eliminates those 495 wild permutations down to just one invariant topology per section. That means one fixed, predictable path for the teams. It removes the massive disadvantages currently facing teams like Portugal and Belgium, protects the top 8 group winners fairly, and crucially, it totally neutralizes that pot 4 donor bias by strictly comparing teams locally.
The researchers really hit the nail on the head here. They noted that this single structural change reduces bracket complexity down to one path, recovering the beautiful symmetry and competitive fairness we always expect from the World Cup. It gives us back the perfection of the old 32-team format while safely accommodating the new 48-team reality.
Which leaves us with a massive question for the future of the sport. Knowing that statistical coupling, rather than a lack of skill, could unfairly send footballing giants like Messi, Ronaldo, or De Bruyne packing early, will the footballing world demand this fix before it's too late? It's a fascinating look at how invisible numbers dictate the beautiful game. Definitely something to think about the next time you look at a tournament bracket.